So greetings everyone, it's Barbara, or Doll to my friends, sitting at the spinning wheel once again on this kind of quiet day as we head into the long weekend. I'm continuing to spin for the Crafting with Compassion shawl along, which I've been talking about a little bit on Instagram and on Facebook, but I thought I would just give you a look today at the spinning in action. And here is what I am spinning. I've blended different things. That's a silk in there. And I've got another big bat that's mostly just the off-white color. And I've got a bobbin here that I'll add to with the different colors, and then I apply that together. So, here we go. So if anyone's interested in joining me on a live spinning YouTube or Facebook, let me know. I haven't done a lot of live recordings, but you know, anything's possible. If you have any questions about the wheel I'm using or the method of spinning I'm using, I do kind of a worsted inchworms. You can see my hands are just going a little bit at a time. Maybe if I turn it this way a bit more, you can see my hands. I remember the question came up years ago when I first started spinning about which is faster, the spindle or the wheel. And the comments on that came back that the wheel is faster if you're sitting. The spindle is faster if you're moving about. So if I was to go for a walk or standing in line at the bank, back in the day when my husband was still driving, I would spin while he drove. I would spin or knit. So in that case, in the course of a day, I could end up spinning more on the spindle. But nowadays, it's mostly just at the wheel with YouTube videos on, or a favorite Netflix or Amazon Prime, older TV shows. I think we're almost at the end of the Vikings we were watching from the beginning this summer. And I'm watching Gordon Ramsay and Hell's Kitchen. Other than the language, I enjoy the show. I learn different techniques about cooking, etc. The drama I could do without, but it's something to watch or to listen to while I'm knitting or spinning. And with a project like this, my spinning is pretty consistent. As long as I stick to the short draw inchworm kind of spinning, I'm almost always the same thickness. So for the shawl along that I'm doing, it is a 2-ply that I'm working towards, and I'm knitting with a 5.5 millimeter needle. So I'll just go grab that and show you the progress. I'll just stop that for a minute. So as I mentioned in my video last week, I'm having troubles with my wheel plying. It doesn't want to spin backwards very easily, so I've been plying onto a bobbin, and then I end up with a ball like that. And maybe I'll just tuck that under. Right side, wrong side. Here we go. So this is the cozy campfire shawl that I'm working on. And I believe it's the same pattern that Sarah is also using for the fall shawl along the crafting with compassion. So that's what I have so far. And you can see there's slightly different colors. I don't know whether this will pick up the yellow. There's a tiny bit of yellow right in there. It's sort of a golden color. And what I'm spinning right now is going to have a lot more of the off-white in it. But I was thinking when I switched to the next design phase, because there's another pattern once I've done a few more rows of this lace, I might go to a darker color or pick up like the rust color that you see in here and just do the rust for the bottom. It's often a good thing in the bottom of a sweater for it to be a bit darker than the upper part, because that's the part that will get dirty. And I wonder if it's the same with a shawl. Again, I'd love to hear your opinion on that one, because I'm really not sure. But design-wise, once I change patterns, it might be a good idea. And I have lots of that rusty brick color. It was fiber purchased from Upper Canada Village back in 2008 maybe. It was from their sheep. I believe they sent it to the Maritimes to be dyed and spun, although they do spin a lot right there on site. So I have navy light pink, which is also in this batch that I'm working on. So navy, light pink, gray, and the brick color. And at the time, years ago, I also bought some of the natural color, the off-white, but I think it's long since gone. It takes up the dye really, really well. And I used to do a lot of dyeing with Wilton's food coloring and with Kool-Aid. I don't do as much dyeing anymore. I probably will once I use up all of the colored roving that I have on hand. But I have made the decision that's kind of not always easy for me to not purchase any more fiber until I get some of the fiber spun up that I have. I have some blended merino and silk, or merino and nylon, merino and cashmere. I have some from the Black Lamb, so shout out to the Black Lamb, because it's beautiful and it again takes up the dye really well. And I have some from years ago that I purchased at the Fibre Garden in Jordan Station down in the Niagara region. Has a wonderful, wonderful spinning and wool shop. And it was merino and cashmere millins, so it's kind of nice to work with as well. But all of that and what I have in the Black Lamb is just plain white, so it's ready to be dyed. But I can't decide whether I want to dye it and then spin it, or spin the yarn and then dye it. So any ideas on that would be great. Also, I'm looking at taking orders for mittens and scarves and socks for the fall and the winter. Socks for me take a little bit more time, and if you want good socks, I buy commercial sock yarns for that. Some hand dyed and some beautifully soft merino nylon blends in sock yarns, and I have some spun up in a navy blue. Not enough for a whole pair of socks, but there's quite a bit there, so I could interject other sock yarns for that. So yeah, if you're looking at giving mitts as holiday gifts, Christmas gifts, or scarves or anything like that, let me know. I'm taking orders now. Socks take me a month, so I might only do one pair of socks. this fall. I'm just finishing up a pair of gray socks for a dark gray, actually, for my husband, with yarn I purchased from Briggs & Little at one of the local stores here, and they're working up really, really nicely. And once I have those closer to being finished, I will show you those as well. So I don't know whether I'll actually do another pair of socks this fall, or I have one sock done in another colorway, so need to finish the second sock. I have one mitten on the go from a beautiful, I think the pattern's called Selva, from Arna and Carlos, in navy and white, and they are going to be stunning. And again, the yarn is from Briggs & Little. But if I'm doing custom mittens for people, of course the price ranges between buying Briggs & Little yarns or other local milled yarns, and or spinning myself. So you can understand the reasoning behind that, as spinning for a project takes a bit more time. But it's part of the process, and I absolutely love it. So how am I doing here? I got quite a bit of that white done just since I've been sitting chatting with you. So I'll just slip it along here. This is an older wheel for me. It's the first wheel I ever purchased. It's not the first wheel I spun on. The first wheel that I had to spin on after I finished learning with the spindle, not that you ever finish, was an old Ashford that was hanging upside down in somebody's bedroom, and they let me borrow it. So that was the first wheel, and then I found this one on eBay. I think I mentioned that last time. But generally, it works really well. It's supposed to be a double treadle, but the second treadle never hooked up properly, so I just use it as a single, and I actually think I prefer that, because then I can stretch out one leg if I need to. It is dusty and dirty, and cleaning the plastic isn't as easy as it might sound, but if you have any brilliant ideas on how to clean the plastic, please leave that in the comments as well. But I'm really glad that you joined me today for just a little bit of spinning. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. And there we go. If you have requests, if you have any ideas of something different I could be doing, also let me know. Subscribe to the channel, and that way you'll never miss me spinning or knitting or just talking. I would really appreciate that. I'm going to leave links below for Briggs & Little, Black Lamb, because those are the places where I have been purchasing, or the items that I've been purchasing. I don't purchase directly from Briggs & Little. I get those from the local store here up in Eganville at Country Depot. Also, I'll leave a link to the YouTube video that Sarah puts out. I think it's pretty well weekly, Crafting with Compassion, and the Shawl Along. So I hope you all have a wonderful spinning day. If you're into fiber works, enjoy the work, enjoy the process, because it's not always about the finished object. Although we all know how wonderful it feels when we complete an item that we've been working towards. But the process of washing and carding and picking and spinning and dyeing and all of those things are part of life for me, and maybe they are for you as well. So take care, everybody. Have a really wonderful day. Happy Labor Day weekend. We give heartfelt thanks to all of those who are in the work industry, especially during this time of COVID-19. You are pretty much frontline workers for all of us. I'm going to peek in here and say bye for now. Talk to you again.